Masuk mulu.
Sometimes not much, but sometimes kadang-kadang.
For the beautiful performance of our dancers from Trisakti Art and Culture Unit. The dance itself is called Lenggang Surabaya. It is a traditional dance originated from East Java. We would like to welcome the Ambassador of Ukraine to the Republic of Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Basil Hamyanin, and the Secretary of Ukraine Embassy Jakarta, Mrs. Svitlana Kovtan, and Mr. Mikhailo Itzik. We would also like to extend our greetings to Director of Universitas Trisakti, Professor Dr. Engineer Kadar Sahsuryadi DA, Vice Rector 3, Engineer Yoska Octaviano MD, Vice Rector 4, Professor Dr. Gigi Eri Astuti, MK, and then the Secretary of University, okay, and the Deans of the Faculty of Art and Design, Ibu Resmi, and then the Director of Office International Affairs, Cooperation and Culture, Mrs. The head of Student 23 and also last but not least, the head of international culture and our distinguished guest. Praise to God the Almighty for His blessings that brought us today together for the opening of art exhibition themed 50 Invention bestowed by Ukraine. This exhibition is initiated by the Embassy of Ukraine in cooperation with Universitas Trisakti. To begin with, I would like to invite Professor Kadar Sahsuryadi to give the opening remarks. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Your Excellency, Mr. Basil Hamyanin, Ukraine Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to the Republic of Indonesia, and all delegates, Mr. Mikhailo Itzik and Mrs. Svitlana Kovtan. It is a great honor for us to be here with you, and I'd like to express our warm welcome to Trisakti. And I say in Ukraine language, Dobro Rantu, and Yaku. And also, I would like to express our sincere thanks and deep appreciation to His Excellency Ambassador for spending your precious time to come to visit our university. And today we have two big events. The first thing is 50 invention bestowed by Ukraine, art exhibition, and the second is general lecture delivered by His Excellency our Ambassador. I would like to explain and brief that Universitas Trisakti is one of the best private university in our country. Universitas Trisakti was established in 1965, consisting of 5 faculties and 52 study programs. And we have about today 18,000 students and almost 1,000 faculty staff. And Usakti organized some international programs such as joint research, double degree program, joint conference, student exchange, faculty exchange, and also joint seminar, and one of them is joint exhibitions like today. So once again, thank you so much for giving trust to our university to deliver the exhibition. I think that that's all. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, now I invite His Excellency Datil Hamianin to share a few words with us.
Ya, yang saya hormati Bapak Rektor, Ibu Wakil Rektor, Dr. Gigi, dan teman-teman saya, saudara-saudariku, pagi. Saya kira Bapak Rektor dan tim lebih sibuk daripada saya. So I have to thank you for your precious time, because this, Trisakti University has very special place in my heart. Many reasons, but one of the reasons was the first impression. No, Trisakti is Trisula, which is symbol of Ukraine, which is coat of arms of Ukrainian state. So every time I see Trisula or Trisakti, yes, glory to Ukraine, glory to our friendship, and also the colors, blue and yellow colors, my flag. So well, it's very special. Every time I come here, yes, I feel the warmth in my heart. And also because Trisakti University is, well, I visited many times, many different faculties, I had different communications. I don't like really lecturing because I'm not proud Indonesian people don't like to be lectured. So it's a communication, I would call it communication. So like speaking, asking questions, that will be more, I think, more democratic, yeah, and more like that. Yeah. And I'm grateful for your support for our initiative. Why? Because something that we proposed quite recently, I discovered this this opportunity, and I think that there is something that we must deliver to our kids, to our students, to our generation. What it is our past, it is our experience. It is our inventions. It is our valuable things we keep in our memories, we keep in our everyday life. Forgetting the past is risking nothing. So that's why we initiated this, like little exhibition to maybe like enlighten somehow not even the students of Trisakti, but also ourselves. I must be frank with you, 50 inventions made by Russians. Around 40 I heard about. All the rest I haven't heard about that was made by Ukrainians or discovered by us. So it's very important, and I appreciate it very much. I adore and I admire this, that Indonesian people know how to remember your heroes. You remember your heroes. You like enlist and you like commemorate the prominent people of the past in order to make young people to remember them and do and follow what they did. It's very noble. Again, thank you so much. And I'm sure that your students, even not just students, your team, yeah, the whole team of Tisakti, big family of Tisakti, will like that. Because it's something that makes your rich. It adds something to your intellect, to your knowledge, into your view of the world. And I think that on the internet, but this is something that can make us closer, like not just Trisakti, but Indonesia at large.
Not connected ini statusnya. Iya, status ini nih, not connected. Harus di-connect dulu. Agak ngerti gimana cara connectingnya. Ini kan ya. Nah, ini yang mana nih? Mixer, ada mixer to PC, ada PC to mixer. Kayak mixer to PC ya. Wah. Yang nyala itu di FX3 sama FX4 itu nyala.
Cek, cek.
Soalnya ini Mas, 7 ini antara
Around the world. Because yeah, yeah. And sometimes. I don't know.
It's like
Yeah.
like a Google Maps.
Spotted camouflage. Okay. Before that, it was just like unicolor.
Yeah.
And then Ukrainian guy invented this spotted like different camouflage. So you can wear it and you can be invisible in the forest or somewhere else. So it's a small thing, but good in big invention in general. Yeah. Well, it's the biggest aircraft ever in the history of the humankind. It's called the Dream. It's the holder still till now holder of I think like 40 world records for lifting and this plane. Can you imagine the huge one? 6 engines. It's really huge. It can carry aircraft on its fuselage. Yeah. So over there we could see over there this one, which is the spacecraft. Yeah. This is for carrying the so it can carry extraordinary amounts of weight, and at the same time it needs just very short runway. So you can Google it. It's like nearly nothing. Unbelievable. Yeah. So for the passengers, it's equal to 3,173 passengers. Can you imagine? 3,000.
That's huge.
Equal. No, the size of but if it is.
This is like equal.
Actually, you can. I was inside this plane. You can just make it running. There's a motor Sikorsky also. By the way, this is the Sula. Trisakti of Ukraine. Yeah. The Sikorsky was Sikorsky born in and he studied in the Kyiv Polytechnic University, which is the sister university of Bandung Institute of Technology. And then he invented the helicopters. And then all the helicopters, like main helicopters in US Army, Sikorsky brand. So at that time, maybe he was lucky to leave Soviet Union because Bolsheviks wanted to kill him, but he ran to the already very famous, already inventing the aircraft, already inventing the first passenger aircraft in the world. Yeah, so and then he escaped the United States, survived. Yeah. Now these are Besar and things, but this is important. Everybody, all people like Malu.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Honey.
yeah. So before that, long time ago, it was invented long time ago. But before that, how people get honey? They have beehives. Then what they do, they turn it around, ding, from it, and then it destroys the bees and destroys the family. Now, this Ukrainian guy invented the frame. So now beehives, it's like a box, frame.
Cek.
Get honey out of it by centrifuge. So it does not damage the bees, it does not damage the.
They can use
Many.
Check 1, 2, 3. Check.
Small invention, but with the huge consequences, positive consequences. Same this one, kerosene lamp. It's like, the whole 19th century was on that, and 20th century. I remember this lamp in my. I remember I was a kid, like in 70s, 80s. It's in my grandmother's house. You cannot do without. It's really like everyday use. Yeah, and all the rest of it. So.
I think like in the airlines.
Something I don't know.
Airlines.
Liquid jets. All liquid jets. It's scalpel. It's for cutting. It's for surgery. Yeah, surgery.
Besar.
I think it's for cutting something.
This is one is the laser, and then like doing surgery. Oh, laser, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
So we don't need knife anymore. Like
Yeah, yeah.
apple.
Those magic gloves, this is very, very funny thing that it's very helpful for people with disabilities. They cannot see, they cannot read, they cannot hear, whatever. So you can gloves and you can do things. Something to do with it.
Ya,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
warna.
Real.
Kalau ini warna dipakai ini jadi warna color dan
Yes. So people touch it, people can see. Some little contribution to the evolution of the humankind into the civilization. So, and I hope that your students will like it. Thank you for doing this. Really, I really appreciate it. This is amazing. Amazing. So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for.
Thank you so much.
for doing it. Thank you.
the most important.
No, it's not the most important. A lot of inventions made in the world, but these are, I say, remember this American guy I was telling you, say, small step of the human, big, huge step of the evolution for civilization. So, first step on the moon. Same. So, every little contribution will make a big evolution.
I'm strong.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, we are going. Yeah, no, I was looking at the right side. So we are going to the faculty of law.
Faculty of Medicine, Faculty of Dentistry, Faculty of Civil Engineering and Planning, Faculty of Industrial Technology, Faculty of Earth Technology and Energy, Faculty of Landscape Architecture and Environmental Technology, Faculty of Arts and Design. The Honorable Director of Office of International Affairs, Cooperation and Culture, the Head of International Office, our distinguished guest, the Secretary of Ukrainian Embassy, Jakarta, Mrs. Svitlana Kovtun and Mr. Mikhailo Izik. Last but not least, our esteemed participant. Good morning and welcome to the auditorium of Law Faculty, Universitas Trisakti for the public lecture themed The Future Prospects of Indonesia-Ukraine Relations by the Ambassador of Ukraine for Indonesia, His Excellency Mr. Vasil Hamianin. The public lecture is conducted both offline and online via live streaming in Universitas Trisakti official YouTube channel. Before we begin, I would like to share a few rules with the audience. All communication devices and gadgets must be set in silent mode during the public lecture, and all guests and participants must stand during the Indonesian and Ukrainian national anthem. Participants can ask questions in the Q&A sessions after the lecture by raising hands, and our officer will come to you, and please mention your name and your institution. And all participants are recommended to stay until the lecture finish. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please all rise as we honor the Indonesian and Ukrainian anthem.
Що ми брали. козацького роду, душу й тіло ми положим за нашу свободу і покажем, що ми браття козацького роду.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a moment to watch Universitas Trisakti and Ukraine video profile.
Welcome to the home of Indonesia's brightest young minds, where dreams are nurtured, potentials are unlocked, and the journey of a lifetime begins. Welcome to your future home of knowledge. Universitas Trisakti. Now, some people might ask, why Trisakti? Well, it's not just the history of a prestigious institution, or notable alumni, or great quality education. It's really all about the people, the experiences, and the spirit that makes Universitas Trisakti a choice for many aspiring minds. At the end of the day, we don't just offer education, we offer the chance for inspiration. And you are that very next step. At Universitas Trisakti, there is no such thing as being just another student, committed to nurturing curious minds and creating a culture of intellect and success. Our lecturers are here to guide you together on your journey as you ask the right questions, find the right answers, and apply the right solutions. In fact, the exchange of ideas here isn't just encouraged, it's celebrated. As a university that aims to propel our students towards a lifetime of achievement, we offer a selection of 51 majors that are provided over 9 different faculties designed to help prepare you for your future. From certificate-level programs to master's and doctorate programs. At Universitas Trisakti, you will be joining notable alumni and a better future as you make the correct choice towards your success in life. Our campus is a living canvas for your creativity. By creating an environment where students from around the nation can unite, we believe in the importance of sharing perspectives and creating long-lasting connections that transcend past our campus grounds. We're not just about theoretical knowledge. We're about hands-on learning that prepares you for the challenges of tomorrow. As you join the ranks of our alumni, you will be an ambassador for positive change and an innovative future, making your mark on the world. With an education that prides itself on preparing your future, you won't just be a student, you'll be a change maker. So, future leaders, thinkers, and creators, the journey starts here at Universitas Trisakti. Join us in embracing a culture that celebrates diversity, a drive for excellence, and a commitment to creating a better world for everyone. Your journey isn't just about a degree, it's about becoming the best version of yourself for yourself. Welcome to Universitas Trisakti, where the future is made today.
The UNESCO World Heritage List is comprised of outstanding natural and cultural sites from almost 200 countries. They are recognized as the heritage of all humankind. Since 1990, 7 Ukrainian sites, places of worship, residences, and old-growth forests belong to the World Heritage List. Besides, another 3 elements have been added to the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Ukraine is among the countries on the UNESCO World Heritage List. This means Ukrainian architecture, songs, ceramics, and old-growth forests, outstanding cultural and natural riches, belong to all generations of humankind. Here are 10 Ukrainian sites and traditions under UNESCO's protection. These 10 listed items showcase Ukraine's cultural wealth. Item number 1, the historic city center of Lviv and St. Yura Cathedral. Europe's architectural and cultural traditions have left a noticeable mark on Lviv. and yet the city also retains authentic Ukrainian traditions. Lviv was founded during the late Middle Ages and became a thriving political and commercial hub thanks to its favorable location. The oldest part of the city consists of the Castle Hill, with the remains of the castle itself, and the surrounding network of streets and squares that formed from the 13th to the 17th century. Lviv city center is a harmonious combination of places of worship, public buildings, and dwellings in the Renaissance and Baroque styles. UNESCO recognized Lviv as a World Heritage Site as the city is a remarkable example of urban planning, where the architectural and cultural traditions of Eastern Europe are interwoven with those of Italy and Germany. The city is home to a range of ethnic groups, which form separate yet interdependent communities. A little further from the city center, on top of a hill, is the Baroque architectural ensemble of St. Duta Cathedral. Built in the 18th century, the cathedral combines the features of the Eastern and Western European architectural and artistic traditions. It was once the center of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church. Item number 2, Petrikivka painting. Petrikivka decorative painting is a type of folk painting that originated from the village Petrikivka in Podniprovia. The people of Petrikivka decorate their walls, crockery, and other household objects with imaginative floral designs inspired by the local nature. Flowers and birds are the most widespread ornaments, while birds, animals, and humans are quite rare. In the 1930s, Petrikivka craftswomen established a workshop in Kyiv. They began painting porcelain on an industrial scale, applying the color to non-traditional black background. A specialized art school was opened in Petrikivka. Today, the village is home to the Petrikivka Folk Art Center, where visitors come to learn and engage with the artists who carry on the tradition. In 2013, Petrikivka painting was added to the list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Item number 3, the Cossack songs of Zaporizhia and Podniprovia. The traditional songs that were sung by the Zaporizhian Cossack are on the list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. They require immediate protection. The drawn-out melodies are mainly performed by groups, mostly without musical accompaniment, occasionally with a bandura, a traditional Ukrainian plucked string instrument. These songs were traditionally performed by men. These days, they are more often sung by women. They tell of the Cossack campaigns and battles, the lives of Cossack chieftains, and relationships between Cossacks and women. However, not all songs about Cossacks are considered as traditional Cossack works. The Cossack songs are mostly performed by the amateur folk ensembles of Podniprovia, as well as individual performers and informal groups who gather from time to time on major holidays. Most of the performers are over 70 years old and have been singing this way for most of their lives, preserving this link with the past. The tradition is passed down from generation to generation. However, due to breaks in this continuity and the decreasing numbers of performers, the songs need to be recorded and preserved for future generations. Item number 4, the wooden churches of the Carpathian region in Ukraine and Poland. 16 valuable wooden churches, half of which are in Ukraine, the other half in Poland, are recognized as part of UNESCO World Heritage. These are the best preserved wooden churches in the Carpathian region, built in the traditional style with horizontal logs. Since they have been repaired over the years using traditional methods, they have retained their authenticity. These buildings can tell us a lot about the local construction methods and the history of the region. The churches reflect the architectural styles of the regions where they were built, showcasing the Hutsul, Halich, Boyko, and Lemko traditions. For example, the 15th century wooden church of St. Yuri in Drohobych, near Lviv, is famous for its unique frescoes and iconostasis. Besides religious motifs, there are floral decorations and compositions from everyday life. They reflect the way that the citizens of medieval Halachina saw the world. Item number 5, the Struve Ark. The Struve geodetic arc was recognized as an object of outstanding value to humanity. It is a chain of survey triangulations that made it possible to establish the size and shape of the planet almost exactly. It was established over a 40-year span in the 19th century and named after an astronomer and geodetist of German origin. The arc stretches for almost 3,000 kilometers through 10 countries, from the coast of the Barents Sea in Norway to the shores of the Black Sea in Ukraine. It consists of more than 200 main station points. 34 of the best preserved points are on the UNESCO World Heritage List. 4 of these are in Ukraine, 3 in Podillia and 1 in Bessarabia. These measurements were used by scientists until the end of the 20th century. It became possible to fine-tune them using research carried out by satellites. Item number 6, Kosiv ceramics. The tradition of Kosiv painted ceramics evolved in Kosiv and other nearby villages. Ceramic pieces covered in white clay are painted with 3 colors, green, yellow, and brown, symbolizing mountains, the sun, and the earth respectively. The motifs on toys, dishes, and tiles depict the Hutsul's history, life, folklore, beliefs, and traditions, as well as the flora and fauna of the region. You can admire Kosiv ceramics in multiple exhibition halls of Hutsulshchina museums. The tradition of Kosiv painted ceramics is being kept alive and developed by small-scale producers and private workshops. Kosiv College has its own department of artistic ceramics. Several of the museums in Hutsulshchina have exhibition rooms dedicated to this art. Item number 7, Cave Pechersk Lavra and St. Sophia's Cathedral. In 1990, these became the first places in Ukraine to be added to the UNESCO World Heritage List. The majestic gold dome monastery of Cave Pechersk Lavra is a distinctive feature of the cave skyline. It was founded by Yaroslav Mudry, Yaroslav the Wise, during the golden age of Kievan Rus. The Lavra consists of 2 unique underground complexes, monastic buildings, churches, and bell towers surrounded by defensive walls. For a long time, the complex was among the most important Christian cultural and pilgrimage centers of the world. The Lavra still holds church services. There are working churches, a monastery, the Cave Theological Academy, and the residence of the Metropolitan, the head of an ecclesiastical part of the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. The area also belongs to the National Cave Pechersk Historical and Cultural Reserve. There are several museums on the site, with collections that include ancient manuscripts, icons, works of embroidery, and etchings. Like the Lavra, St. Sophia's Cathedral was erected in the 11th century, right after the Christianization of Kievan Rus. It is one of the key monuments of architecture and monumental art of the period, influencing the design and decoration of churches across Eastern Europe. Until the 13th century, it was the main cathedral of the capital of the Christian Principality. St. Sophia's Cathedral and the adjacent monastery complex combine features of the Byzantine and Ukrainian Baroque styles. Their ancient interiors have been preserved, along with the largest collection of mosaics and frescoes of that period. Today, the territory belongs to the Sofia Kievska National Reserve. Item number 8, the primeval beech and old-growth forests of the Carpathians. Ukraine is particularly rich in natural heritage. The primeval beech forests of the Carpathians are on the UNESCO Heritage List, covering extensive areas of forest across 20 European countries. In Ukraine, 15 sections of forest belonging to biosphere reserves and national nature parks were added to the list. The primeval beech forests are an example of untouched ecosystems in the temperate zones, providing a valuable genetic pool for the European beech tree. Forests like these used to cover 40% of the surface area of Europe. Thanks to reserves such as these, researchers are better able to study the evolution of beech and other plants from this particular geographical area. Among the forest sites on the heritage list, these forests are home to particularly unique flora and fauna, especially species that have adapted to live in caves. Item number 9, the residence of Bukovina and Dalmatia Metropolitans. The official name of the site might not ring any bells, but Chernivtsi National University is on many people's must-see list. Academic premises were set up here in the middle of the 20th century. However, the architectural complex was constructed in the times of the Austro-Hungarian Empire as the center of the Bukovina Orthodox metropolis. The residence consists of 3 monumental buildings: the Metropolitan's Building, the seminary, and the monastery, and an arboretum. It represents a remarkable synergy of classical architectural styles as well as the art of local ethnic groups. The complex was built using only locally sourced building materials. This grandiose building project contributed to the development of production facilities in Chernivtsi, a masonry conveyor, 2 brick factories, and a ceramics factory. The bricks were subject to a meticulous quality control process, including a sound test. Visitors to this UNESCO site can take a guided tour available in various different languages. Item number 10, Taurok Chersonese and its Kora. Over 2,000 years ago, in southwestern Crimea, on the site of the modern city of Sevastopol, a fascinating city was founded, Taurok Chersonese. Even today, you can see the remains of this ancient city-state, or polis, as well as its agricultural suburbs, or Chora. In 2013, it was unanimously voted onto the UNESCO World Heritage List. Taurok Chersonese was a classic Greek polis and an important political and economic hub in northern Prichornomorya. It was also a cultural crossroads for the Greek, Roman, and Byzantine empires. At the time of the Russian occupation of Crimea in 2014, the Taurok Chersonese Museum, an archaeological site, housed over 200,000 exhibits discovered during the excavations. These include the remains of the defensive walls, residential areas, and artisan workshops. Due to military and commercial use of the site under Russian occupation, the World Heritage Site of Taurok Chersonese is threatened with destruction. UNESCO is an organization that seeks to promote peace and security through international cooperation in the fields of education, science, and culture. Its programs focus on areas that include access to education, international scientific cooperation, the preservation of tangible and intangible heritage, and the free flow of information. As a UNESCO member state, Ukraine is bound to move consistently towards the goals set by the organization. We have a lot to develop, preserve, and admire.
What a beautiful country. Okay, in this occasion, before the public lecture, I would like to ask Mr. Ambassador to have a photo session with all the leaders of Universitas Trisakti. Yeah, yeah, behind the panel table. Okay, thank you. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Mr. Ambassador to sit on the designated chair and also Pak Agus as the moderator. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the moderator of today's public lecture is the Director of the Office of International Affairs, Cooperation and Culture, Insinyur Agus Guntoro, MSc PhD. He is also a geologist and a lecturer at the Faculty of Earth Technology and Energy. Without any further ado, I hand over the next session to our moderator. Pak Agus, time is yours.
the Excellency, the Ambassador for Ukraine, and the delegation, and also the Rector of the Trisakti, the Vice Rector, Dean, Vice Dean, lecturer, and student. Good morning and thank you to each and every one of you for being here. It's really, again, I would like to welcome the Ambassador. It's really an appreciation and a respect for us to have you this morning. It gives me really a immense warm and immense warm and great heartful to grace of you on behalf of University Tisakti. This morning we have a very special public lecture that will conduct by the ambassador. We know that the Ukraine now is under in the war with the Russia, and I know that we pray so the war will end soon, and hopefully we also can understand what is the cooperation and collaboration that we can do in the sake of Indonesian and Ukraine and through the Trisakti. Before, we already accept your representative. They told us about many things about the Ukraine, especially about the university in Ukraine. And as also in the exhibition, that if you see the exhibition, the student, so we can see how the great achievement by the Ukraine in the science and technology. I'm quite amazed actually to know that several technology was invented by the Ukrainians, like the laser of the cornea, and also with the technology that related with the nuclear. It proved that Ukraine have a very good education. So before we start with the public speaking, the public lecture, as this morning the Excellency Ambassador tell us that he would prefer to use the word sharing rather than lectures, because it means that we can be more relaxing, then probably you can answer the question, or you probably can interrupt during the speaking. It's really depend if you have any urgent question. But before we start, I would like to read the curriculum of the Excellency. The name is Dr. Fasil Hamianin, the Ambassador of Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, born in December 1971 in city of Dnipro, Ukraine. In 1995, graduated from Foreign Philology Faculty, Kiev Taras Shevchenko University with a degree in Chinese and English philology or translation, and PhD in World History in 2001, Institute of Oriental Studies, National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine, and joined diplomatic service in Ukraine in 2002, and from 2002 to 2010, occupied various diplomatic positions in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, Embassy of Ukraine in China, Secretariat of the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine. In 2011-2015, served in the Embassy of Ukraine in China as a minister, counselor, and charged the affairs. In 2020-21, Deputy Director of the 4th Territorial Department, MFA, of Ukraine, and finally on July 30, 2021, appointed as the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Ukraine to the Republic of Indonesia. Now I think the time is yours, Excellency, to give the speech. And according to the timetable that was sent to me, you have about 40 or 45 minutes to give your lecture, please.
And then how much time do we have for questions?
About 20 minutes.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Rahayu, Salam Kebajikan. Saya merasa sangat terhormat berkunjung Universitas Trisakti sekali lagi. If I show you something in my bag, there is something I have with me every day. It's not that I specially prepared it, but there's something that helps me to work. It's a power bank, Trisakti. Always with me, always in my heart. And it's not that I specially prepared it, you know. I just carry it all the time. And thank you very much, Bapak Rektor, para Wakil Rektor, Dekan-Dekan, Dosen-Dosen, para mahasiswa, saudara-saudariku. It's really great to be here every time. I will not talk too much about why, but for obvious reasons, I was a student myself. I love students. I love the educational process. In fact, I'm still studying something every day. And I really wish you do the same.
because as someone mentioned in my very boring biography, I had, I was graduated from the Faculty of Chinese and English Literature and Philology. So as Chinese say, 活到老学到老. So you live till your old age and you study till your old age. So study all your life, basically. That's it's about. So that's why in my life, in my opinion, in my view, in my heart, education is not just something you go through during your teenager times and then during your university times. No, it lasts till the last breath of your life. And very prominent but sad example, I would say, because I have to just mention it. Former ambassador of Indonesia to Ukraine, Bapak Gafur, yang sudah meninggal, he served very brief time in Ukraine, and then he came back and he died here in Jakarta. Until the last minutes of his life, he was writing something and like memories, reporting, and he was reading something. That's it was nearly 2 years ago, and it stays in my heart very deeply because, person who really, literally studies until he can breathe. So, for good memory of my good friend. I think I will change the schedule if you don't mind, Papa. So I would prefer, really, I would prefer communication to the lecture, right? So I don't think Indonesian people like to be lectured, yeah. Teachered and preachered, yeah, I remember that. And I would prefer to give a very brief introduction of what I would like to say, and then I would welcome questions. Because I really want it to be as a communication, not as a monologue, because monologuing is boring and many people just don't like it because, maybe I'm talking about something you are not interested in, right? So I want you to be interested and involved in that. Also for this reason, for expanding the view towards the world, I can invite you warmly and softly to follow me on Instagram, follow the Embassy of Ukraine on Instagram. It's very easy. So you say Vasil Hamianin and it will be there. So in Instagram, Twitter, or whatever you prefer, Facebook. And it's not just because, it's not myself being cheeky. It's just because I really want to share with you something that I have a lot of information there you might find interesting, entertaining, and useful in your everyday studies and everyday life, perhaps. So don't hesitate, don't be too modest, just follow me, okay? Now, we are talking about the future prospects of Indonesia-Ukrainian relations. This is a topic I can give a chain of lectures, actually. So it would take like hours and hours and hours, maybe days and days and days, to describe the real, true prospects of our bilateral relations, for good reasons. Indonesia is the huge country in the world, in the global scale, and definitely the biggest in Southeast Asia, one of the world leaders, and definitely the regional leader. Ukraine is in Europe, it's considered a very big country or two, territorially and in terms of the population. Historically, we are very, could build a lot of parallel ways as our history developed. We both have a recorded history of 15 centuries or something like that. So, et cetera, et cetera. And at present, I think we literally stand on the start line, like on the zero line for developing. In terms, if you think about our potential, real potential of Ukraine and Indonesia, and the real potential for cooperation, we really are on the ground level now. Because what we had is till before the Russian aggression 2 and something years ago, 830 days before, we had a turnover of about $1.3 billion, but it's just mainly two positions. It's gandum and palm oil. So gandum here, palm oil there, and that's it. So when the aggression of Russian aggression started, we nearly dropped to the zero level because of the logistics and everything. But I think that our potential could be measured by hundreds of billions It's not, it's literally like that. And I will explain why. So, to tell about the future prospects, I would say this. Let's be more schematic, yeah? Let's build up a scheme so you will feel easier to find the question, because otherwise, everything else you can just Google. It's 21st century, for goodness sake, yeah? So you can just Google and find out what we had in for trade, what we had for investments or something else. So, I think that there are basically there are two agendas we can face in development of our relations. One is bilateral agenda. One is multilateral or global agenda. For bilateral, I would stop just only for a couple of things, and I think we can move to the more specific and more important sphere. So for bilateral agenda, I would be expressing only my personal views on that, because well, I don't like to read the like the dictionaries or like instructions. My personal view is we should start from the education, from the basic things, and this is the position, this is the approach a lot of my Indonesian friends and a lot of my Ukrainian friends share with me very, very sincerely. We should start from the education, because education will bring you the variety of starting points, actually. It's not just the education. It's building up the internal ties between the societies. It's building up the ties between the future generations of our countries. Because you are students, you are the future of this country. And same we have in Ukraine. So people who will be building up foreign policy, internal policy, diplomacy, building up economy, trade, business, building up science and technology, everything, design, culture, developing like everything, literature, of course. So you see how the educational sphere will like embrace everything in bilateral relations. So it will be education, exchange of knowledge. Why it's so important? Have you heard about like things like creativity? You have even the Minister of Creative Economy, right? So creativity and innovations. Do you ever think how it happens? Why some people can make inventions? Go downstairs to visit the exhibition. How people invent things, how people turn innovative, not just expanding but developing. How? Sometimes we call it the fresh blood, the fresh knowledge, the fresh ideas. How do you get the fresh ideas? How do you pick up the fresh ideas? If you grow up in one society, it's not easy. It's possible, but it's not easy. But in the globalized world, you can pick up it from internet, from films, from literature. However, you will never do it better than communicating in the different societies. You come to different societies, you find yourself among the different people and say, oh my God, there's like millions of fresh ideas which would never come into my mind when I work here or do something here. People, the most vivid example is like fashion design. You go somewhere and say, oh my God, batik, wow. And then people start going back and creating something batik-like or I don't know, patterns, colors, style. Same as Ukrainian vyshyvankal, embroidery, Ukrainian embroidery, traditional, right? Half of the fashion houses in the world now use embroidery patterns from Ukrainian traditions for the shows, for the new designs, because it's in trend, because it's nice, because it's beautiful, and it's unique to some extent. Yeah. So this is how innovations come to our lives. Education. Second thing is about education is, as I already mentioned, like communication. Communication expands your knowledge. Communication opens your mind. Communication establishes invaluable things like friendship. When you remember then 20 years ago, you met this person and he was a good classmate actually in some universities. And now he's like a, I don't know, ambassador somewhere and I'm a minister here. Of course, if you meet him or her, that will be a great meeting and there will be already to establish some relationships, in the society, for me, like ambassador, I have to go through very complicated, like, procedures and schemes and everything. I talk, I discuss, I try to approach, and I think about how to approach this person, how to create the contact. And sometimes it takes years. Sometimes it takes months. But when you already know the person, it will take no time. Click and you're already in front of him or her talking, and it's about trust. So education. And Mihailo my team will prepare in the process now, preparing the letter regarding the establishment of direct communication and direct relations between Trisakti and some Ukrainian universities. One of the things we can propose now is something very unique again, very unique. And sometimes I feel it's like a bit scary, but it's online education, which Ukraine is now championing, I think, maybe the best in the world, the best system in the world. Unfortunately, due to the 2 years of COVID and more than 2 years of war, in 4 years, nearly 5 years, the whole Ukrainian system of education switched into the mode of online regime. So we provide the brilliant and very high quality education for kids, for the students, with the exception of some things like you cannot teach medicine just online. We have to touch the teeth and things. But in a lot of faculties, a lot of like Hukum, like engineering, you can do this easily, and people do. I have 3 students in my family now 2 students and intern. So online education is something that A, cheaper, B, more convenient. You don't need to travel overseas for that. It's comfortable because you can do it anywhere. You're just literally sitting in sarung at your home, like having coffee and studying. You don't need to dress up like batik, long sleeve batik, run to the lecture. No, online, easy. And it's because it saves a lot of time. You'll have a time to read, more time to study some other programs. So I do strongly recommend to the team of Bapak Rektor and to para mahasiswa to think about that. That's interesting. And we're talking about not just about students, we're talking about the upgrades of the docent team docent. So bachelor's to master's to PhD. It's available, it's open. Education is one thing to do. Second thing, I will not mention everything, right? So I would not mention the politics, whatever. Very important thing is education would include, no, I will mention it later. I mean, don't laugh. I know why you laugh, yeah. I'm just preparing for that. Second item on bilateral schedule, I would mention what? Any ideas? Right? Bingo. I think of myself as a practical man in general terms. So if you want to understand anything, try to look at the roots of the issue, of the problem. And the roots in 99% is something practical, is something tangible, is something you can live out for, not just like, because, without trade, without economy, without literally earning money to buy food, nobody will survive. That's why practical cooperation, practical relations is crucial for our bilateral relations, crucial. And education is very practical because it can be, education is universal because it's like development of your mind, development of you as personality, is development of you as the social units, and also it's very practical because it's a business too. But all the other things like trade, investments, innovations, technologies, creating companies, developing projects and programs, this is crucial and this is very important. And in this sphere, I think, and I know, Ukraine has a lot of things to propose. As again, I try to identify how to say it in English, but does anyone speak Chinese here? Yeah. As we say, 经济互补性很强. How to translate this? It's like 互补性很强. It means that in economies and in industries of Chinese and of Ukraine and Indonesia, we can add to each other's very comfortably. Basically, I can give you one simple example, and you will understand what I mean. I noticed that all the fruits, buah-buahan, you have in Indonesia, we don't have them in Ukraine. And all the fruits, or cherries or berries we have in Ukraine, you don't have them here. So if you literally like provide us, supply us with your fruits, like, I don't know, guava, papaya, apulcad, etc., and we supply you with blueberries, raspberries, cherries, and apples, this will be there. Like, what is this? Hubusing. Yeah. It's like you compensate something you don't have here, and we compensate something you. Yeah. No, not exactly. But it's like, you know, you have gaps in the economy, and we just take something from it. For example, we have the technology, you have the resources. So we bring the technology to Indonesia, and we produce something based on your whatever it is. You have cocoa, we don't have cocoa, but we have outstanding technologies for producing chocolate. I think Ukrainian chocolate is the best in the world, better than Belgian or Austrian. Honestly, I love chocolate. That's why I always choose Ukrainian, because it's nice. It's the best, simply the best. So we have this technology. Why don't we bring it here? Establish a company, a brand, new brand. You have coffee, extraordinary coffee. Why don't we bring the coffee to Ukraine and establish a network of Indonesian cafe? Like I discussed already with my friend Ridwan Kang Emil, with Jabarano. Yeah, so good project. And why not? Yeah, that's what I mean. We bring something you don't have, and you bring something we don't have. And this will create the future for the relationship as a practical basis. Now we stop on that. If you have any questions on the practicality of our cooperation, you will ask them later. But now we pass over to the multilateral agenda, which I think is decisive in our life today, because the world is growing smaller. You cannot deny that. Like 200 years ago, to get from one side of the world to the other part of the world, it was, okay, like 1,000 years ago. It took years maybe for people to travel from that side to another side. 200 years ago, it took like months. Like 100 years ago, it took weeks. But now it takes seconds. You can reach every part of the world in seconds, literally. Or if you travel, okay, hours. Yeah. So the world is growing smaller. And this shrinking of the world brings a lot of, I would say, useful and comfortable things, but it also brings a lot of challenges and threats. Because whatever happens in that part of the world, any part of the world, it will echo all the rest of the world in no time. And this echoing might sound years and years after the challenge is resolved, after the problem is resolved. The example, of course, I will set the example as the Russian aggression against Ukraine, in Ukraine. Have you ever thought about how the traffic jams are created and how they dissolve? Do you know the rule of traffic jams? The rule of traffic jams is very simple. If the traffic jams is formed within 30 minutes, it takes 2 hours to dissolve it. It's just like that. It's not like you have it for 30 minutes and then 30 minutes is gone. No, it does not, because it's accumulative. Now, the war in Ukraine happening, the effective aggression in Ukrainian territory, now influences the rest of the world. In terms of what? In terms of food crisis, it's growing up. Prices for food are growing everywhere. Deliveries are not enough. Deliveries, logistic crisis. The delivery chains are broken. The production chains are broken or damaged. Energy crisis. Fuel crisis, nuclear energy crisis. You know that now in Ukraine, we can comfortably enjoy the lights and everything. Now in Ukraine, even the capital city, every day we just have like 4 to 6 hours of electric supply only. So we have like 20 hours no electricity, and only 4 hours we have electricity. So people charge power banks, cook something, and you know all that. That's what's happening now in the center of Europe, in the capital city with 5 million people, and all the rest of them, of course. It's not just one city, it's everywhere in Ukraine. Can you imagine that in the 21st century? Ecology. Very bad ecological influence of any war, because the aggressor never cares about what's going on with ecology. The damage is to be calculated, but in the terms of ecology, some damage is irreparable. You can look, I would not mention the countries of the world, but you can look and check it, just check it. Many countries of the world did so much harm to the nature, it's irreparable now. So you cannot undo it, and you cannot like come back to the original status. No way, because it's already damaged to the ground, to zero level, finished. So this is long-term influence into the planet, into the what do you say, climate change and things like that. And the worst thing that I could mention among the damages, the worst thing is the damage to the human beings. I'm talking about killings, I'm talking about tortures, I'm talking about the humiliation, I'm talking about the stealing of people, like kidnapping of Ukrainian children. I'm talking about all that. And this is the global agenda now. 20,000 Ukrainian children just deported illegally from Ukraine, separated with the families, or having the families killed and then deported into Russia, like that. This is the big damage to the human society, to the humankind, because this, all in all, I would call it the crisis of trust. Global crisis of trust. No one trusts anyone. And this is the worst thing we can think about. If no one trusts anyone, everyone will be preparing for the worst, everyone will be preparing to fight, and everyone will be ready to launch any sort of weapons at anyone if he even feels the danger or feels the threat, which is really, really bad. And that's why we, in the context of future prospects of the Indonesia-Ukrainian relations, I think we should, how much time do I have?
I have 1 day, 20 minutes.
Okay, I will try to be within 10 minutes so we will have more time for questions. Now we pass over to this very important agenda, global agenda. I do hope, and I'm trying to contribute to this, that Ukraine and Indonesia stay in tune, in the same tune for the global agenda. And this does not only include the Russian aggression in Ukraine. This also includes the problem in the Middle East, Gaza, Palestine, two-state solution. This includes the threats that now we all face in the Middle East, from the terrorist organizations, from some terrorist states. It's the situation in the Far East, in the Eastern Asia, which I would not mention, but you all know what I mean. This refers to the dictatorship regimes all over the world, everywhere, in every part of the world, starting from Africa, Asia, Latin America, which can literally ignite the war or launch the strike anytime, any second, just because they are dictators. and they don't understand, they don't want to know what is democracy and what is the free world. So I really believe Ukraine, like Indonesia, the countries that fight for the independence, they know the taste of the freedom, they know the meaning of merdeka. And in Ukraine, most of all now, these days, already for a long time, for 10 years, because actually Russian invasion started 10 years ago, not 2 years ago, with occupation of Crimea. Most of the people greet each other like merdeka atau mati. This is the most common greeting in Ukraine now. And it has been like it has been for centuries, actually. It's literally word to word, merdeka atau mati. And it's amazing. So how we greet each other here and like what 10,000 kilometers far away from Indonesia, same. We understand what is that. That's why I want us to be in one tune. That's why I want us to be on the same side in the global agenda. And that's why I just want to draw your attention, because it will take some time if I talk about that, but to draw your attention to the great event that happened just last Saturday and Sunday, the Peace Summit on Ukraine in Switzerland. 102 or 101, more than 100 countries and international organizations, including the UN and the Council of Europe and European, European Commission, etc., European Parliament, took part in this summit. 57 leaders of the states, 29 ministers, and 6 envoys of the ministers. This was a very symbolic and global event. And this was the, like a, I would say not barometer, but like a tester, yeah? Who is who in this world? Because it's very simple. The questions are very simple. I only have 4 questions for that. Do you support peace? Do you want peace? If you do, why are you not here? Second question. Third and fourth, 3 other questions, refer to the final documents of this summit. The joint communique, a very small joint communique. And there are only 3 issues. First is nuclear safety. Nuclear security, nuclear safety. We are not supporting anyone using the nuclear weapons or the peaceful nuclear, like nuclear power stations, as a weapon, threatening other countries or threatening any societies. We do not do this. Anyone disagree with that? I don't think anyone disagree with that. We shouldn't weaponize the nuclear power in general. We should not weaponize it. We should not threaten anyone with that. It's too dangerous. Second, food security. No one should weaponize food and like block the food supplies in order to pressure upon countries, threaten countries, or create any obstacles towards like free food supply to the people of the world. You should not do this. Like the global community should come together and arrange and ensure that food is free delivered, free produced, free delivered, and freely distributed around the world to the people who need it. And it's not just about the poorest countries of Africa. It refers to everyone in the world. We eat. We are not like, like boa constrictors. You can eat today and then 1 month you are just having fun, yeah? No, we must eat every day. You cannot say, oi, we'll deliver this gandum like 2 months later and we deliver like twice as much. So, yes, but we would die before that, before you deliver twice as much. We don't need twice as much. We just need it, but now. It's about food. You cannot stop it. You cannot stop, like, okay, I would not produce. It's not like oil, yeah? You get from the minyak tanah, No, it's not like that. Minyak tanah, you can more or less, whatever, yeah? It's not like pakaian, yeah? Baju. Because this you can wear like 1 year and then change, but you can wear 10 years if necessary. But you cannot do without food and water, clean water. And third issue is the humanitarian issue. The main humanitarian issue referring to the children and the prisoners of war. The prisoners of war. The prisoners of war would include the soldiers in prison, and then it would include the hostages, the civilians imprisoned illegally by the Russian Federation, and the children illegally deported to Russian Federation. Free Ukrainian children, bring them back, exchange the prisoners of war, all to all, or whatever it is, yeah? Any scheme. Who will disagree with that? No one, I think. So, my hope and my prayers stay with that Indonesia, as one of the main global democracies, and Ukraine will stay in tune, will stay on the same side of what is right, of what is good, of what is human, of what is just. So basically, we describe the future prospects of Ukrainian-Indonesian relations as peace and peaceful coexistence, of course, justice, humanity, and practical cooperation. So that's the future that's the future for our relations between our countries. And I have little doubts that we'll come to this, like fine tuning very, very soon. It's not easy. We understand all the challenges that raise around us, and the challenges come from nowhere else but from the authoritarian regimes, solely from that. But finally, before questions and answers, finally, I say something important. My belief, firm belief, my something I have I understood one day clearly in my heart. Democracies, free nations, must have very strong muscles, very hard claws, and very sharp teeth to protect themselves. If democracies fails to protect themselves, they will be destroyed to the ground by dictatorships and authoritarian countries. This is the unfortunate rule of all times. I am, as having a PhD in world history, I can prove this, and through the history of any country, of any region. And on this positive and optimistic point, I would stop and give the floor to the questions. And I'm open to any questions. Please do not hesitate. It's okay. But please, I will ask Pak Agus. Yeah, like my friend Agus Harimurti Yudhoyono. Pak Agus to moderate it. So because I don't want to, I want all the questions, but please control the time because I can speak for all day.
Sure, thank you so much. Okay, give applause. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. I think what you just explaining to us is really important and will influence the life of our life. I would like to emphasize the message from the Excellency, what he just explained. Basically, we are talking about the future prospect for Indonesian-Ukraine relation, and there are two agendas that we can start with. First, with the bilateral collaboration, and second, with the global collaboration. With the bilateral collaboration, we can start with the education, in any kind of education that will lead us to the fresh, what we call the fresh ideas, because we can have a sharing knowledge and sharing the interaction between the culture and so on. And you have, as the Excellency proposed, from the kindergarten, senior high school, even from the graduate, undergraduate, it can have a very good started relationship. And in terms of the global collaboration, we cannot ignore that the shrinking of the globalization make there's no border between the countries in terms of economic, politics, social, and so on. So we cannot deny and we cannot just avoid it. We have to interfere. We have to link together in terms of the food crisis, in terms of the logistic, energy, fuel, ecology, and finally with the politics. With the politics at the end, we have to come up with the peace, justice, humanity, and practically. So with this summarized, I think I would like to invite the floor to have the question to the Excellency. But before the student will ask, probably I will give the privilege to the Pak Rector to give to us in terms of the how we can start in terms of the education. Pak Rector, please, probably you have in any kind in terms of the education.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Agus, Excellency. I'm very happy hearing from your side that you are very interested in education cooperation. So our international policy is consisting of such as student exchange, faculty exchange, joint seminar, sandwich program, and other. And for student exchange, we are very keen because student exchange is preparing our future leader. When the student come to our university and they interact with our student, it makes the cross-cultural interaction between the both. And when the connections at the very beginning, someday, if your student become leader and our student become leader, it will facilitate their connection in the future. So I agree with you. Education cooperation is the priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Rector. So the collaboration in terms of education, not only for the professionalism, but also how we can connect the young leader like you in the future so we can work together. Okay, Prof. Eri, you have any question probably? Yes, Prof. Eri, please.
Thank you so much, His Excellency. Actually, this is not question. Yeah. Okay, since you mentioned about the conditions in your country, so this is outside from the collaboration, but you know that we know that the Chinese people, the Chinese young people, you know, when they have a very bad situation at the long time ago, so the government just told them to all the young generations to say, you have to be proud to be a Chinese and you have to fight for your country, something like that one. So any things that you have in your country to I mean to fire their spirit. I mean all the students there. Okay, thank you. Just asking about that one. Thank you.
You want to give comment, please? No? Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, now the student, it's time for you. Oh yeah.
You mean that? You see, this spirit stays with us through centuries. Because if you look at Ukraine, right, you will find out it's a very big country. It's like 5 Pulau Jawa by territory. It's a big country, and it has literally no natural barriers for to stop the nomads, to stop the aggressors or invaders. No, it's just plain, very good soils, few rivers, but not so bad rivers. Like navigate what rivers with navigation. In winter time, you can cross the river on ice. So it's not protected naturally. And how Ukrainians managed to survive and still speaking the language they spoke like literally like 1,000 years ago. We still speak that language, more or less, like a bit advanced, but we can understand that. Yeah, how those people managed to survive in this territory while like crossed by wars and smashed and crossed and smashed every century a few times. How? Because of the people, because of the spirit. Because in Ukraine, since like times immemorial, the farmers, peasants, we have petani, they have 2 instruments at home. The plow, how do you say? To dig the ground, delve the ground, yeah, and the sword to protect. So if they don't work in the field, they practice in protecting it has been for centuries. So basically, when it came now, it's on a genetical level that all these guys who were like, you look at them, they look like petani, like delving something, digging, and they don't look like healthy and like, like Schwarzenegger. No, they're just simple guys who smoke a bit, like, cannot run too fast. But when the danger comes, they turn into lions. They turn into like panthers and like killers. Because someone who really understood Ukrainians, there was a guy from Chechnya, Chechen Republic, the first president of Chechnya, Johar Dudayev, who was killed by Russians in '94. He once mentioned this and said, never never insult Ukrainians, never take away something important that belongs to them, never take away their land. Because Ukrainians will come back for their land. And when they come, the people who occupied their land, they will envy the dead. That's what he said in 94. And that's true. And besides of that, we don't have choice. It's not like we occupied some lands and we have choice to retreat, to go somewhere else. We don't have choice. This piece of land is what we have. If we don't protect it, we'll be somewhere or nowhere. We would lose the house. We would lose the place we belong to. And we just not lose it for ourselves. We lose it for the generations after us, for our children. So we don't have choice. We will be fighting till the last drop of blood. And we, like Bung Tomo said in Surabaya, Pidato Surabaya said, we have enough blood to make this white flag red. We still have enough blood for that.
Oh, amazing. It's something like self-defense of the DNA. Okay, now students, it's time. Okay, yes, please.
Good morning. My name is great importance of humankind, which is in the context of humanitarian law. What has I would like to give some context first. In 23rd of June 2023, Russia has attacked the city of Odessa, which, from my understanding, is a part of the World Heritage List of UNESCO, which they put as in heritage endangered. Now, my question is, what has the international community has done, or any other international organizations such as the International Committee of the Red Cross, the United Nations, UNESCO? What have they done to protect the city of Odessa? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good question. And I would say that, we are talking not about Odessa, we talk about the hundreds of towns, villages that were literally destroyed by Russians. It's not just Odessa that was attacked. And it was not just Odessa that was bombarded and threatened. City of Lviv, you see in the video, the first one, was attacked many times in the center, just missiles just hit. We are talking about the tens of thousands of residential buildings damaged or destroyed. We're talking about the hundreds of masjid, of garija, of churches and mosques destroyed. We talk about the hundreds and thousands of schools, hospital, and everything destroyed or damaged. So it's a huge damage caused at the present. And well, you can also refer to that. If you want to know, if you want to understand what in modern times would the nuclear explosion look like, look at Mariupol. Mariupol now in the state as if it was bombarded by few nuclear bombs equal to one in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Really? So yeah, it is. And not just Mariupol. Cities like Severodonetsk, Mariinka, Bakhmut, and many other smaller cities. Mariupol is a huge one. And the smaller cities just destroyed, like destroyed totally. You cannot live there. No way to live there at all. Yeah? So no living space, no supplies, nothing. No. Yeah? What the community did? Well, the main I'm sorry to say that, but the main contribution of these organizations like UN and things is concern. We expressed concern. But you know what? When someone is dead, it does not really need your concerns. Because those who are alive would need your protection, not just concerns. And unfortunately, the only way to protect the citizens is to have weapons. That's what we have been crying and shouting out for a long time before our partners and friends provided us with some Patriot systems that can cover the cities with million or like million population, like Odessa, Kharkiv, like Kiev, like Dnipro. And we still need only seven systems of Patriot, only seven. We have hundreds produced around the world. We just need seven to cover Ukraine, main regions, main districts of that. So yes, there were some activities. UNESCO expressed concern. UNESCO threatened that Russia will be excluded from somewhere. You know, when the wild beast comes into the into the, I don't know, the farm and finds the chicken, you can express 1,000 times your concern, but the chicken will be dead unless someone comes with a rifle and kills the beast. Unless, or at least, you know, threaten him and like scare him away. At least that's the only way you protect yourself against a dictator who doesn't care. Doesn't care. The only language Putin and his team understand is muscles and teeth and claws, is force. If you don't believe me, just remember the history of the Second World War. How it started in 1938 from Austria, then from Sudets in Czech Republic, then full-scale Poland and all the rest of it. Persuasions, like what conferences, Munich? Who cares about that? My friends, only strong muscles. You can hit back, you'll be respected, and you'll survive. You don't hit back, you pray for, I don't know, for please don't do this because it's not human. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I think it's very difficult to tell between theoretically and practically. In war, there is no rule, but either you have many treaty. But anyways, okay, another question, please. Yes, I think I'll choose the woman, the girl, a woman first, please. We still have 10 minutes, so please a little bit concise the question.
I'll try to be fast to answering.
Can I ask this question in Chinese?
You mind? No?
好的，大师先生好，我是大三法律本科的学生，叫nadia迪亚。我就是觉得好惊讶，你会说很好的中文，很巧的是我也在学习中文。我想问这个问题，因为刚才你提到了教育，你学会了4种语言。第一是乌克兰语，然后有英文和中文，还有印尼语。你的印尼语也很好，说得很好流利。在你的看法，乌克兰、中国和印尼有没有特殊的教育系统，还是好习惯，让我们印尼学生能跟着吗？应该到这里吧。谢谢大师先生。
Should I answer in Chinese or in English? Well,
what is the question actually?
No, the question was about the studying system, yeah. So between China, Indonesia, and Ukraine. So like what are the main I don't know, methods or routes or the ways, yeah, we can make these exchanges between China, Indonesia, and Ukraine, right? As far as I understand that. Yeah. I will answer in English, right? So, because, yeah. You see, I would say this. The system of education in China has centuries of experience. And that's why when we, in the former Soviet Union, in former times, like 100, 200 years ago, in Ukraine, it was pretty mature system of education too. By the way, like 15 centuries ago, or not 15, 10 centuries ago, like 1,000 years ago, Ukraine was one of the most educated countries in Europe, maybe the most educated country, including the women who were speaking, writing, and reading. And we had one of the biggest library in Europe at that time. Unfortunately, in the 13th century, when Mongolians conquered Kiev and burned it to the ground, that all ended. But yeah, there were times. So with China, we had a very comprehensive system of exchanges and education. So I think what I've been trying to do before when I came to Indonesia and before the aggression started, so I paid attention to the education very much, and I wanted to the basic things. There are two things, yeah, two basic things. We can ensure the exchanges. We have to sign the bilateral document, like agreement between the governments of Indonesia and Ukraine regarding the exchanges, regarding the framework, regarding the programs, whatever. So this framework will enable us to establish the relations between the state-owned universities, laboratories, I don't know, research institutes, etc., to ensure the exchanges. We start from the exchanges. This is important. Second step, of course, on the parallel tracks, private universities can do it between themselves. It's absolutely no obstacles on that way. We don't even need the intergovernmental agreement. We just need the MOU or agreement between the universities. Yeah, and I will submit the proposal very soon. So it will need only the someone. Bapak Rector will appoint as the contact person, so they will communicate easy. They will do. I'm sure they will do very fast. The third thing is what we do now with China. What we have been doing for some time. Because I worked in China, I did it. I actually studied it. Second thing is important is the meta level. I would say that the top level of communication. So we established the Association of Rectors of China and Ukraine. So it's like 80 people, 80 heads of universities, 40 from each side. And it's a big story, and every year they have at least 2 times gatherings, or maybe 1 or 2, in Ukraine and in China, and then sometimes online, sometimes half-half, yeah? But it's good communication. They exchange the views, how to cooperate, how to develop, how to introduce new programs. And this led to the third level of the cooperation. How to say? Multiple diplomas. For example, we had the universities that have the agreement between Ukrainian, Chinese, and Canadian university. So for master's degree, or for bachelor's degree, normally you study like 3 years. But in this case, you study 4 years and a half. But you have 3 diplomas. China, Ukraine, and Canada. And this is good. Yeah? Same story with master's degrees, same story. And we have 3 diplomas because you study sometime, part of the time you study in China, part of the time you study in Ukraine, part of the time you study in Canada. And in all 3 times when you study in Ukraine, for example, you have Canadian teachers teaching you and you have Chinese teachers teaching. That's the third level, but it's really, I love it. I was very proud that we made it. And yeah, this is about very rare and very useful subject for Indonesia. It's about the sea navigation. It's about the preparing the skippers, the sailors. It's about the designers for the ships and the engines, etc., etc. So that's the ways. We just, you know, 说开始就开始. We say start and it will start. It depends on us.
Thank you. I think it's good. Okay. Who else want to ask a question about? Yes, you please. Yeah.
All right. Good morning. My name is Sultan Dapanugraha from the Faculty of Law here in Trisakti University. And Your Excellency, so you mentioned about the power shortage that is currently happening in Ukraine, and energy is really important, especially in this modern world. So my question is, how can Indonesia and Ukraine collaborate in energy sector to achieve mutual benefits? That's it. Thank you.
That's a good question.
Good question, but I think that it's not easy for us to cooperate on that field at present moment, because you know what happened? What happened basically in Ukraine, right? So last year, the massive bombardments of Ukrainian infrastructure damaged the transformators and electric delivery infrastructure. So the generation capacities were not damaged, were protected at that time, but the distribution was damaged. So basically we can produce, but we cannot deliver. Yeah. And that required a lot of like electric transformers, some switches, I don't know what, a lot of equipment, which is big, which is complicated, and which does not necessarily fit our requirements sometimes. So we have, but these things are not produced in Indonesia. That's why at that time we tried to find, we found something, and then we delivered the information, like provided information to the Ukrainian authorities, and they checked it and say, doesn't fit, because it need to fit, you know, generation till the consumer, all this they should fit, and it didn't. So that time we tried to arrange something, but we failed because it just objectively. This year, the attacks were committed on the electricity generating capacity. So it's power stations. And it's absolutely different story. So because like now we can deliver, we can distribute, but we cannot generate. Because the two big stations were damaged totally. Like one is like literally 1 kilometer from my home. So my kids were there like 1 kilometer. It was a bomb. Three missiles hit the power station. It was crazy. It was scary. And Dnipro electric power station, river like hydro power station damaged. So it stopped. It cannot produce, cannot generate. And the biggest in Eastern Europe nuclear power station near Zaporizhia is now in the hands of Russians. So they stopped like supplies. It cannot, they cannot stop the power, because nuclear power, they cannot just stop it, right? But they just cut off the supply, so it just goes somewhere like nowhere. And this is a problem, and we are trying to find the ways again but to rebuild the power stations, it needs not just money, it needs time. It's not something you can deliver and install and it will work. No, you should rebuild it. It takes time. And we are now looking for the mobile generators. So big ones, you can deliver in few containers, then assemble, and it will work. But it's like that. There's something that I don't think we can do much together with Indonesia. However, I think we need support from Indonesia in terms of imposing pressure upon Russia, at least to leave the nuclear power station in Zaporizhia, because it causes not just the cut-offs of electricity, but it imposes the potential big, huge danger for the whole Black Sea regions if anything happens. Because controlled by the terrorists, it just endangers everyone. You know, remember this? Everybody have heard about Chernobyl. We still have the consequences since 1986. You remember what is this? Fukuyama? No, what is this? Fukushima power station. It was small, tiny leakage compared to the Chernobyl. And it's a big hiss all around the world. China, oh my God, it's like, ooh, contaminated, blah, blah, blah. If anything happens there, the whole regions, like around 20 countries, will be influenced. Nuclear contamination is something you cannot sweep with the you know, just, no, it doesn't work like that. So the real true support and help from Indonesian government will be the pressure, together with our other partners, pressure upon Russian dictator to leave the nuclear objects of Ukraine, leave it to the international nuclear, what is this, nuclear atomic energy, what is this? Yes, absolutely, International Agency of Atomic Energy. Leave it to them to control this at least, right? So that's what we can do in energy sector.
Yes, thank you so much. I think now I give the time to the lectures. No, the lectures, because we are talking now in terms of the bilateral collaboration, especially for Trisakti University with Ukraine, that might be can be facilitated by the Excellency. Now the lectures probably want to ask the question. I give the time. Pak Judy, it's time yours. Not too long, Pak Judy, because our time is very short now.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, my His Excellency. As you just shared to us about the best practice on online learning in your country, I would like to know which one university in Indonesia or in outside Ukraine that has been collaborate to share your best practice about online learning. Thank you so much.
We are now having the negotiations with many universities in Indonesia, with many, and we hope that it can be done like, okay, because to create the cooperation on that sphere, we need two things. We need two parties at least, right? It takes two to dance, so you need to have the Ukrainian university ready to cooperate, having the facilities, having the system, having the subjects in English or everything like that. Yeah, we need the contact person who will maintain this, maintain the process, and we need the universities in Indonesia. So we identified the few universities in Ukraine now who are ready to cooperate. We identified now we will like approach one by one. We approach Indonesian universities, and we just started this process a few weeks ago. We're talking about few universities now, like from Erlangga University in Surabaya to Trisakti here. So we'll be sending you the letter very, very soon. And you know, the good thing for that, it's very easy to test. It's testable and verifiable. You can just get this online. You will be impressed. I was impressed. My son now studying in the my second daughter is studying in the medical university, and she half, yeah. So half time should be there because yeah, it should see and touch and everything. But half time she is online. My son is in the Polytechnic University in Kiev Polytechnic Institute, and he just in a year's time he went to university once. 1st of September, first day, just see everyone, okay, bye. And then now everything is online. He even passes the exams from his phone. My wife is driving here, sitting on the backside and passing the exam. And it works. It works. And they like the two last years in school, they were online. And now 1 year 3 years at school online, 1 year in university, nearly online. And the results are really good. I'm happy with that. And they are so happy they can save so much time. So just wait for our letter.
Thank you so much. Okay, last question now because we still have 3 minutes. Anybody would like to ask the question from the lecture host? The lecturer, you want to ask the question? Okay. Yeah, please. You want to ask question? Yeah, please. Just short because we only have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much for Mr. Moderator and His Excellency, Mr. Fasil Hamianin. I want to ask a question about the culture. So, if we talking about the future prospects, we need to talk also about the future prospects for our culture. I myself is really like the culture from the Ukrainian, especially the song, because I really like the Slavic song. Yes, but for the younger generation, they really didn't like to learn about their heritage, their vintage culture, like the folk song. We in Indonesia also face the same problem. So I want to ask, in your opinion, what is the best way to promote the culture for both Indonesian culture to Ukraine and Ukrainian culture in Indonesia? Thank you very much.
Wonderful question. This is, it's a strange story, but everything related to culture is very much money consuming and time consuming. So basically, if we have the bilateral, multilateral cultural projects, not many of them are really like self-sufficient, you have to pay. Someone has to pay for that. He has to bring the orchestra or a dancing company or someone has to pay. Otherwise, there will be no point, right? It does not generate the capital. It does not generate money. Right? However, the real clever people, you say how to attract the young people. In Ukraine, they managed already. They did something incredible, and they like encouraged young people to study culture, to study, like batik and this baju Ukraina, and then folk songs, and then folk art, like painting, like Petrikivka and Kosiv, all this clay and things. Very simple. Attract them with profits, with money. Think about integrate the cultural things into the working business model. This will work. When you really create something unique, well, Petrikivka is like, okay, it's like a boring flower. But if you integrate it into the fashion, you integrate it into the one recent example. I was recently in the presentation of some, I think it was Juan Tirta's house. Yeah. And there was a presentation of a new model of Ioniq 5 car, batik, Ioniq 5 batik. It was the idea of Bapak Gandhi, who was at that time the ambassador of Indonesia in Korea, and now he's in the office, presidential office. He's a high position. But his idea was, let's make it a batik car. So they took this, what is this, kaun, motif kaun, and they just literally make it like all over the car, and inside too, and on the wheels. It's like outstanding. It's a masterpiece. Just one kaun, no parang, no everything. Just one simple thing. But now it's a business. It's a business. And it can be like woohoo. It can be like reduplicated. Use innovative ideas. Think about how people will like songs. Why they do this? How there are. It's too many things, Recently, you can check it in the internet. Just one example, not related to the culture, but just one example. Some cats, kucing, they meowing in very special manner, and the guy was like with a piano, did this electronic music, and it created like masterpieces. It's like millions of views, just a cat's voice, plus electric piano. Some people do the folk, change it, switch it into the pop, and then it's like it's folk motif. It's purely folk, but it can win the Eurovision because it's nice, because it's different pop. It's different, yeah. So combine the creativity and the business modeling. That's the way.
Thank you so much. Finally, now the time is 11:32. I was given the time until 10:30, so we have far beyond 2 minutes. Anyway, I would like to summarize about our discussion today. As in line with our topic of the public speaking from the Excellency, the future prospect for Indonesia-Ukraine, and the Excellency explained about how we can start with the bilateral and global cooperation. And this will create opportunity and of course the threat as you mentioned before. And in terms of the bilateral, as you mentioned about how Indonesian got a lot of the product that can be sent through the Ukraine, and Ukraine have the very famous of the wheat, of the maize, if I'm not wrong, and also some mining. And in line with our rector vision to bring Trisakti University into the entrepreneur university, so probably we can start with the entrepreneur as well. And we have what we call as an incubator of the business. So probably from the economics can start with this one. So the question is how we can start with this collaboration in a very short time, as explained by the Excellency. So in this case, I think I would like assign Ibu Amalia. Probably we can thinking about how we can start with how to initiate the program of the collaboration between Trisakti University and Ukraine that can be facilitated by the Excellency. So in this case, probably we can make something like a discussion through the staff from the Ukraine, so we can make this much better. So it means this seminar or this presentation can have a benefit from both of us, and it can be facilitated our collaboration in the future. I think that's from me all, and thank you so much, and give applause to the Excellency. Moderator, I give the time to you back. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I hope I hope you guys get a great insight with the sharing session from His Excellency. And now we would like to extend our gratitude to His Excellency by giving souvenirs. And I would like to invite Professor Kadarsa to hand in the souvenirs. Is the position? Okay, thank you.
Then we do Trisakti.
Okay.
Very small souvenirs, very symbolic from Trisakti. It's actually my promise will be I will did you open the where I promise we will open the bookshelf of Ukrainian literature in the library of So we'll prepare this set and we'll make it a little small little ceremony. But this will be a little start. Travel book of independence of Ukraine from 1991, the Declaration of Independence till 2022, and it will be like just open it. Just, okay, one open, 1 year, 91, 92, and the most important thing that happened to Ukraine. So it's easy reading. It's very entertaining. So my little start from the bookshelf and take photo. Take photo. If no photo, it means nothing happened. Okay, then. And yeah, very. I think this will be very practical. I like practicality, as I mentioned, but it will be the calendar for this year. And why is it important personally for me? These are some words by Bung Karno, and these are translation into Ukrainian. So I will read something to you. I think I'll need this. Saya benci imperialisme, saya benci kolonialisme, dan saya takut akan konsekuensi dari perjuangan pahit terakhir mereka untuk hidup. Kami bertekad bahwa bangsa kami dan seluruh dunia secara keseluruhan tidak akan menjadi mainan bagi negara manapun. That's one of the phrases. So I sign under these words, every word. It's really great words of great men, great statesmen.
Okay, let's give a clap for everybody. Communication and mutual understanding in fostering stronger connection between nations. Let us continue to engage in such meaningful conversation and promote the spirits of cooperation and collaboration. Thank you once again for all attentive participants for being with us today. Have a wonderful afternoon and see you later. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.